Hang on for me 1 second, y'all. Something is different. Oh, there we go. All right, y'all, just stay tuned in. This is Shanita Cleveland. Pin it. All right, hopefully y'all can see what's happening now. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're here in Plano, Texas. Okay, we do have someone on the phone, so if y'all can just hang tight. If you hear a little noise background, that's what's happening. So just recently in the news, Rakem Balogun has been arrested and sentenced in the county jail in McKinney, Texas, which again, that is where Marvin Scott III lost his life last summer. That is where Mr. Rakem is. He's recently talked to his family. He was sentenced last week, Wednesday. Okay, so he remains inside of that county jail right now. If y'all guys know, I know that the FBI tried to tie him to Micah Johnson, the young man who killed, or who was a part of killing those police officers here in Dallas. I think it was 7 of them. So y'all, this is, okay, say it one more time. I know Wooty.
Hey Wooty.
Hey Wooty. Hey
yes.
Wooty. This is Miss Hey Wooty. So please stay tuned. She is about to tell you why she needs you to know what's happening.
You want me to start with the FBI case or just his trial now?
Yeah, what's happening now? And can you please ask them to put them on mute until you're ready?
Okay. Yafayo, can you put your phone on mute?
Yeah, I got it on mute.
Okay. So, basically, Rakem, he is a community activist. He's done a lot of work in the community. Worked with a lot of organizations. He's done a lot for people, just making people's lives better. And he recently went to court. He was facing a trial where, in his case, it was considered self-defense. His attorney said that they were going to argue that it was self-defense because he had an altercation in a convenience store, and the store clerk locked him in the store, as well as threatened his life and told him that he would kill him or shoot him. And in the matter, of course, as soon as the door was able to become open because somebody else in the store confronted the store clerk and told him that he couldn't, lock the customers in, he unlocked the door. He reached up under the counter and, I believe Rakem feared for his life at that moment. And, he grabbed his gun and just kind of shot, but he did not shoot the clerk. Nobody was harmed in the situation, but it was kind of just, a moment where he feared for his life because somebody had already locked him in a building, which is kidnapping, as well as threatened to kill him and shoot him. And so in that moment, he just kind of responded with what he thought would keep him from being killed, and so from that, he was charged with an assault with a deadly weapon. And, this is actually his first felony. He's never had anything on his record from his past. The only thing that he's had was the black identity extremists with the feds, and that was dismissed because they did not have enough evidence to hold him in that situation. And they even used that in this trial. And this trial had nothing to do with police shootings. It had nothing to do with the police. But the prosecutors were very adamant about just tying his past to this trial and making it seem like he was going to be the next cop killer. They used the Micah X, situation, and even used a photo of him having a shirt on him that had the X on it, to say like, this man, he stands for killing police. He's anti-police. And this had nothing to do with what happened in this convenience store that night. And so, before I get into that, I just want to say that, Friday they called him They asked him if he could meet them Monday at 9 in the morning. He got up there, and it was a surprise for him to find that he was going to go on trial last week, because prior to that, they had told him he had 6 other cases in front of him and that it was going to take a while. So he was not expecting a case until, and found out that Monday he was picking a jury. Tuesday, he went in, you know, he came home, he expressed that Wednesday they would probably figure out a verdict. And Tuesday, he left that morning, told everyone bye, and that was the last we saw of him. I actually got a call from one of his comrades that let me know that he would not be coming home because they had his trial that Tuesday and already had made a decision within 30 minutes and already came up with a verdict. This was a lot, you know, just on all of us. I know that this was a surprise to him because his lawyer, you know, gave him a lot of hope in this case and told him it looked really good, especially with a lot of the evidence that they had. They had 4,000 sheets of papers that showed all of the work that he's done, all of the good things he's done, from giving to the homeless, from helping families, from just, you know, repairing and restoring the community, the youth programs that he's been involved in. He's done so much good to affect people's lives and has still been doing that today. And they were going to use all of this. His lawyer didn't use any of this to defend his character. And so, you know, just in this situation in general, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can have your Yafea chime in if you want to and take a break for a moment.
Yafea, you want to say something?
Yes, most definitely.
Can you turn the mic toward me?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. What I want to say about Rakem is that he is a father. He's been a father of several children, biologically, and those that are not biologically his children. He's been a great example of a man who has been a family man, that's, you know, taking care of his community and his immediate family, works very hard to provide, you know, an everyday situation where people can feel safe and secure. And so, you know, a lot of times we don't highlight these types of situations, particularly with black males. We often hear a lot of negativity about it. But I want to say to your listeners and to everyone out there that Rakem, otherwise known as Christopher Daniels, is a good person that, you know, has taken the responsibility and the mantle beyond what a lot of people, you know, wouldn't necessarily do. I can tell you from his case and from his experience, we dealt with the FBI back in 2017, and he at that particular time, just like this particular situation, he was at home with his 15-year-old son Buddha, and Buddha was had noticed that there was lights and there was people outside their door, and Rakem told Buddha to be calm because Buddha was very afraid and very scared, and we walked with him through that process for 6 months. He was facing 10 years based upon primarily his Facebook posts. Now, how many people out there know that, you know, these people are targeting us behind our Facebook posts, especially those of us who have been activists in the community? You know, this was quite shocking to me, that to come to find out that they had been tracking specifically Rakem for 2.5 years since we had went to Austin, Texas, a few years back. And so I just want to piggyback on what she's stating, is that this is an atrocious situation that the community you know, has experienced, and we have to do everything we can to protect those men out there that's actually working hard, going to work every day, that's providing for our families, taking care of children, things of this nature, that's making it happen. We have to do everything we can to protect them and to make sure that they can come home to their families, not go to court or unexpectedly go to court not knowing what's going on because your lawyer hadn't given you the full detail and show up, and then all of a sudden come to find out you're having a trial and then you never go back. That's a very scary situation, and I hope your listeners understand that we have to be able to stand up against this sort of thing.
Okay, so what it's saying is that he was brought in as if, you know, he wasn't going to trial, and then once he got there, they said, hey, you're going to trial. They did it. Was it a trial of his peers? Did he have that amount of black people, like the color of his skin, the right amount?
On the jury?
Yes, on the jury.
No, it was an all-white jury. He had one black person that was an older person on the jury. Everybody else was white. And, you know, he made a statement. They even used that against him. He made a statement on the night that they took him in, Tuesday night. And, you know, he was on a phone call and he was just expressing, like, the jury, you know, they railroaded him. And he was like, you know, I kind of figured that would happen. They're all white and just one black guy. Wow. And they tried to use that the next day to when they were going to decide what his sentencing was. They played that in the court to try to provoke the jury. Wow. And say that, you know, it was a racial thing, like he's racially profiling the jury,
like he's the head of a gang.
Yeah, like it was just weird. The prosecutors, it's like they didn't even stay on topic with the actual case. It's like they focused so much on his character, and they used things against him from when he was in high school. They used things against him from when he was in his early 20s. Rakem is 38 years old. He's almost 40. And he's been at home. He works. He comes home. He's a father in the home. You know what I'm saying? He's taking care of the children. He's been taking care of me.
He took care of the country.
And just the community in general. Like, he's been taking care of the people. Even in our neighborhood, in our community, you know, he's still been involved with like the youth, like the young men that's in the area, just trying to keep them out of trouble, you know, because sometimes the young teenagers that are in the area, they don't have any guidance. And, you know, he sees that. So sometimes he works out with them and just trying to speak positive to them to keep them from getting in any trouble. And it's just kind of like, you know, Wednesday, when they did allow us to come up to speak for him, you know, his attorney was going to argue and try to get him probation. And he did not provide him with the adequate representation because, you know, he didn't try. Like, he said that he was going to try to stick by what the law was, which the law would have said that in that situation, it still could have been considered self-defense, or, you know, just considering that this was his first felony and anything like that. And it's kind of like his lawyer didn't even put up a fight, even, you know, with the people who were testifying. You know, when the prosecutors got up, it's like they slayed him. Like, this man, he's angry. This man is going to be the next cop killer. If you allow him to be on probation, he's going to be the next cop killer.
Wow, I
you
didn't
know
that. Did an expert come in and testify to that?
That's what, no. Like, the prosecutors just went off of that. And like I said, they just pulled that up.
Here in Collin County. That
he stood in solidarity with Micah X.
Did he know Micah?
Did he know him personally?
Yafeo? Could you, Yafeo, someone asked who's the lawyer and what law firm is it, and then we'll let Yafeo answer that question. Does he have a lawyer? What lawyer? And is he court appointed, or is he a private firm?
Yafeo.
I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
No, we said, does he have a court-appointed attorney, or was it private law firm?
and correct me if I'm incorrect. Hey, I believe he had at one particular time he had hired an attorney, and I think at this particular time, if I understand correctly, unfortunately, it was a court-appointed attorney. I'm not sure of his name, but I'm sure Hey would be able to provide that information.
Yes.
But he, of course, in these types of situations, particularly these court-appointed attorneys, and I just want to talk about that for a second. These court-appointed attorneys don't necessarily represent the best interest of the defendant. And oftentimes, of course, as we know, they give plea bargains and things of this nature, and they want us to, necessarily, take the plea bargain and kind of make the situation clear. But what happens in the situation when a person really does believe that they're innocent? What happens when they really believe they're innocent of a particular situation? Now, of course, they want to fight, and that's the kind of person that Rakem has been. He's always been a person that was willing to stand up if nobody else was willing to do so. So for me, hearing that this case went to trial is not an uncommon thing, knowing his character, that he's always been a stand-up guy. But I just wanted to reiterate that in Collin County, it was his case in particular was kind of the type of case that people kind of wanted to, if I want to say, stay away from, because of the connection that the prosecution was going to try to connect with the police, and just the history of Rakem itself. But the most important thing that, as I stated, that people need to know and need to absolutely understand is that Rakem is a father. He went to Kimber High School. He was a high school wrestler, well-known high school wrestler. He went to the Marine Corps, served his country in Iraq, and came back to the city of Dallas and began to do things for the community. So I want to promote the idea that he's not just some abstract person. He's the person that you could see walking down the street with his children, or at I think Hey and him, they went to the fair at one particular time. I'm just promoting that he's an everyday person, but as we know, these courts and these attorneys and things of this nature, oftentimes, especially when they're court appointed, may not represent our best interests.
That is exactly what we hear all the time. I think everybody on earth has heard that about court-appointed attorneys. But I also hang on one second. My little widget is doing something different. So let me ask you. I know that it doesn't matter, but it's just a fact. I know that the owner of the store was Asian, correct? He was Asian American, not for sure if he's American, but maybe so. And I know that I've heard recently also that someone mentioned that they were having problems with their owner of their retail shop, and he is Asian American as well. So I think that is definitely something that we need to talk about in this world, and obviously in this city of McKinney and Dallas, for sure, and I'm sure everywhere else. All right, so is there a message? I know you talked to him. Can we get to that? I have about 10%. I do need to charge up.
Yes, for the main part, he just wanted, the people to know that he does feel like he was not represented properly. As well as, like I said, he had his lawyer had those 4,000 sheets. And his lawyer's name was Matt Goheen. Like Yafael was saying, lawyer, and that lawyer actually dropped him like a few months ago. So it hasn't been that long ago. So it was like just something that happened really quick. He ended up getting a new lawyer, and this lawyer gave him a lot of hope. He told him he had a really good chance of winning his case and arguing self-defense. And then when he got there, he didn't even try. It's like he just sat back and he allowed the prosecutors to just eat him alive. And, this has been done with several freedom fighters in the past, like Assata Shakur, as well as Mumia Abu Jamal. And so, he just wanted people to know that he felt like this was politically motivated as well as racially motivated, because they came for him as somebody who has advocated for so many people in the Black community, as well as just in general. Like, he hasn't just done things just for Black people. But with him being a Black man who has just had influence and who has, stood for just having rights to bear arms and everything like that, they look at him as a threat, just in the system, because that is something that they don't want us to do, is to be able to know our rights and to stand up for ourselves, or even know that we have rights. A lot of times, that is why a lot of Black men or people in general are arrested, is because they are unaware of any rights that they have, and sometimes they give up their rights because they are unaware of them. And so he's done a very good job at just trying to educate people politically, and that's a threat to them, because when people have knowledge and they know that they have those type of rights, then it makes it harder for them to be able to do their job and to be able to win their situations, just like the situation where he was marked as a Black identity extremist, and the feds lost that case. And I feel like, if he didn't know, his rights, and he didn't have a good attorney and things like that, it could have went south. And so it's just like, I feel like those things are very important, just being politically educated. And that's something that he has tried to, just encourage the community very heavily. And so, that's pretty much it on his end, and just sharing like,
let me put it in context for y'all. So Amber Geiger, y'all remember Amber Geiger, the police officer that killed Botham Jean? Amber received, her sentence was 10 years. This guy, no injuries, no nothing. He pushed the chips. The guy goes and locks the door. Allegedly, it's what the family's saying. And he's a Marine, so he's trained. The government trained him, as a Marine. So someone's locking you in, and then they leave to go get something. The door's unlocked. You're headed out, but you're reaching for something. People just defend, and so I believe that's what you're saying has basically happened to Rakem. And so he received 8 years for that. 8 years. He's not a felon. The FBI case, he did beat it. You can Google that. I did read that as well. You see a picture of him walking out of the federal prison. So he was not a felon. He has 7 kids. What I mean by that is he's got 6. She's got 6 children, and there's a 7th one in the belly. And so Rakem was working 2 jobs, according to this beautiful young lady here.
He was expecting, we're expecting our child in 6 weeks. And so even that on both of our ends has been very emotional, because he's not going to be present. And we were actually planning to have an at-home birth, and he was going to be catching his own baby, and so he's not even going to have the opportunity to hold his child when it's born. And, he's been caring for me these past few months while I've had, just complications and stuff. And so this has affected all of us, because I'm originally from Georgia, and, I came out here with Rakem, and so it's like he's my family. He's all I have here, other than the family, extended family that he has given me through the organization and his family. It's like, it has thrown a lot off in our lives. And, you know, this has put a lot of stress on me. It's put a lot of stress on him because he's been the sole provider for us all and all of his children. You know, his daughter, she's in dance, and he has a son that's in band, and he funds those things to keep them going. And it's like, you know, even expressing that, the jury did not care that this man is a father. You know, they could have given him probation. They didn't have to give him, you know, 8 years. They could have gave him a lesser sentence. They could have gave him probation, and even that would have still been something, because he wouldn't have been able to have guns if they truly felt like he was a threat. You know, he wouldn't have, whatever the picture is that they were trying to paint.
Yeah,
it's
he
like,
should have been tagged.
Yeah, he's been working, like, and people can testify that and share that this is all that he's done over the past couple of years. It's just work, come home, he's a father, and this is all he's been doing is, you know, reading with his children and spending time with the children. And it's just like, you just took their father away, you know what I'm saying? And so it didn't just affect him, it affected the children. And that's very hard to explain to them, because it was just like...
It's okay, take your time. So I know that you guys have started a GoFundMe, and so you guys can let the people know in the comments. So I guess we can just stop here. My battery is about to go out. So we want to thank you for speaking out, you know, on the things that you need to let the community know. And so I know I've been I've been around him. He was nonviolent during George Floyd. We were there that Thursday before Friday. Before Friday's protest, we were there Thursday, and he did come out and was just using his voice, using the megaphone. No violence. I didn't see any violent behavior, and so I just want to share that information. All right, thank y'all so much, Smashers and Smashettes, for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for always using your voice, sending prayers, showing love. Hit the love button if you're so thankful to be able to see what's happening through the lens. Call Smash the topic and send love to Smash. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is Shanita Cleveland reporting the news. Don't forget they do have a GoFundMe.
I'm sorry.